All right, we are live. 12:45. There we go. Oh my, oh no, we're still good. Oh. Not a good start. Yeah, that's it for that one. All right, so keep getting notifications about the audio bit rate, so I'm gonna look at that for a second. see if we can actually win a game instead of lose. What's up, Herbie? Let me just do that. Hope your morning or whatever time it is for you is going well. So that was not the correct thing to do. Having a beer. It's for me, it'd be a little early to have it. A beer before noon would be a little bit questionable. I think this one's a loss too. Yeah. Need some 3-minute. So I lose games extra fast. So 16:51, so I assume that's military time, so then, what, 4:51 in the afternoon? It's funny, my mom worked in a hospital for a number of years, so she still has military time on her phone. But I never think in military time. Obviously, it's not that hard to calculate. Join a little brewski on a Friday. Can't go wrong with that. I'm enjoying my last couple Fridays before school starts back up for teaching. Which means I'll be working every Friday. I guess unless we don't have school for some reason, but... 4:51 on a Friday, though, I hopefully wouldn't still be at work. Ooh, that hurts. I thought at first when you bet 1651 you were just putting your chess rating randomly. I was like, yeah, he's a lot better than me. It's a lot higher rating than I got. So if I take, he takes, I take, he take, I set. So he just flexes his chess rating. And what's your name? I'm 1651. You don't need to know my name. 1651, that's my name. Do you? Oh, that's just a people do moves like that, and I miss it so much because it's just like, oh, it's just like a full blunder. There's no redeeming part of that. And then it's like, here, like, there's another rook. Like, he just gave me 2 rooks. And I think this might actually be okay. So he takes, I take, and now I get one of those. Or he does that. Oh, I'm down on time. Oh, I'm down on time. We gotta start cruising. And lose all my pieces. Not good. Oh, I'm gonna lose on time. That feels bad. Alright, we gotta do 5 minutes. I'm not mentally ready for 3-minute chess. So it'd be a decent warm-up to do some 3-minute chess, or at least do a game of 3-minute chess, and then you play a little bit faster for 5 minutes. See if he does something dumb like that. What's up, Reed? Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna live stream training today because it's just like muscle snatches and pressing. I have a overwhelming urge to do a lot of overhead press, which may be detrimental to Saturday training, but I'm feeling like getting pumped. I also kind of didn't feel like doing more grad school work. I'm so far ahead of stuff. I have all the stuff that is done for the 28th. So for next, I have everything done. So everything's always due for me on Sunday nights. And I have everything done for next week, I think, or at least most everything. Actually, that's probably not true, but far ahead of where I need to be. More stank. That's really the key, is as much stank on the bar as possible. See if he goes. No. No. Yeah, I'm trying to. So all of the assignments, like their final due date is August 4th. So I'm trying to just be done with everything. So not that I'm like, oh gosh, I don't have any summer because I've got, like, it's not really taken over my life in some sort of, dramatic way, but I would like to just have it done. 2 rep max front squat. Yeah, I did a heavy pause front squat yesterday. Actually, surprisingly went well. I didn't realize when I did the 180 pause squat a couple of weeks ago that I had actually done 182 randomly before. Like in 2022, I'm pause front squats are one of the most random lifts that I'm good at because I'm not good at front squats. Like I'm not built for them, but as like a percentage of my max, I can very randomly do a ton. Like 182, I don't know what my 1 rep max was at that point as far as front squats, but I mean, it was probably like 192 or something. Like it's insane, an insane high percentage. But pause front squats also feel, I would say a 2 rep max. I think that's probably better, especially if you've been training in reps. I've been doing, at least adding in like a top set of pauses. So what I've been doing the last 2 weeks, since all the behind the neck jerks, it's been the same time, is I just do normal warm-up sets with the front squat, and then the top set, just do at least attempt a pause one. I had missed 185, paused, and then it was bizarre. It was the last session, so Tuesday I missed a 175 just regular front squat. My front squats are horrendously inconsistent to a hilarious degree. I don't really want to castle yet. I'm gonna do that. But yeah, 2 rep max. I mean, if I was like, what's going to correlate? I don't know. Like either one is fine, but I don't think one is necessarily better than the other as far as like the correlation to the, being a 1 rep max or whatever. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing on front squats or any strength lift is just try really, really hard. I think what we do is go here. And then we can go there. But like, I kind of, you can think of it kind of like in a jokey way, but like it is actually one of the best forms of advice for like, if you technically know what you're trying to do, and especially if it is a very, like a push press, you kind of know what you're trying to do. So you're not thinking through a bunch of different things, but like a huge aspect of it is just trying really hard to use your legs and get through that whole lift. And so the idea of just, try harder sounds kind of like fake advice, but it is truly like, there's been so many times where even with snatch and stuff, it's like, I just have to just try it. Like, you just have to just do it. Like, you just overthink it and you become too focused on all of the technical cues that you're trying to think about versus just try to do the rep as hard, like just try to do it and just get it done. And that's kind of like a mentality that you kind of see like a track person. I would envision like that track mindset using to get a lift. Like, they're not really thinking about the technique. They're just trying to push through the weight aggressively. And by doing that, they just are, not to say more athletic, but like they just exhibit more strength. Less technique at times, but yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of talked about it a little bit yesterday, but like having the low expectation. So you just go in and just like, if it feels good, if it feels right, and then you can push it up. But if it doesn't, then it's not the end of the world, because it's, for whatever reason, it might not feel like it's there. But to be like, all right, I'm going to get up to, 70 or 8, whatever is like would be a light double or like a routine double. And then it's like, all right, if something feels good, then I can push up beyond there. That was kind of how I treated behind the neck jerks yesterday. This one's over. Whatchamacallit? To where it's like, I really want to get to 165. And I had like a weird attempt with 155 where I basically just didn't want to like walk it out. So I didn't really like step my feet together. So it was basically a miss, but I was like, all right, that was kind of like my minimum. So I just like to, for different exercises, some days it's just like whatever I can get, but like you kind of have the minimum, and then you have like, if I feel good, if this weight feels like I could do more, but like having a weight that if the top set or that top weight that you want to do doesn't feel good, you don't hit clinical depression. It's like, all right, I got like snatch balances are a good example. Like I did 135 yesterday and I did 120 the attempt before that, and 135 is definitely like, it's heavy for me to do. And so like 120 is like, if I get this, like I need to make sure this feels good, I make sure it looks good. Like this is the number that I know I should be able to hit as long as I am focused in. Like 135, it might just wiggle off, I might miss it. There's a lot that can go wrong with that weight, but it's the weight that like I should be able to manage this, and it being a weight that is realistic. I could be like 135, I've done 145 before, I should be able to do 130. You can delude yourself, but trying to be realistic with like, this is a normal number that I can do, and it's conservative in that regard. And something that you could probably do that I'm terrible at is trying to chip at PRs. So I actually did it with the pause front squat. So my best before was 182. So I did 183. But I am horrendous at chipping. Like I did 185. Like I should have just did whatchamacallit, I should have just did 1 kilo above that like I did. And I mean, the 180 I did, I honestly thought that was a PR. It is. But like you hit more PRs, and especially like it's also important to be realistic. Like when I did that, like that pause front squat, the 182 that I did before, like that was in 2022, and it wasn't like I was necessarily stronger or anything like crazy back then, but like that was just like a day that I could do it. But like that was my previous best, and that was I think a pretty big number. Or a pretty big jump at that point as far as like a PR that I hit for that particular lift. And so understanding that as well is important, where it's like that was already a crazy improvement, but also like, I hadn't been training pause front squats in a while, but I knew like, it's kind of like pause front squats to me are kind of like deadlifts in the sense that like I can just do them pretty easily at a really high percentage. But I don't know, it's bizarre because they're really natural. I don't know, that's the same way. Like multiples of 5 are just so much nicer than like, I'm going to add 2 kilos, like it just, or 4, whatever, 1 kilo. 1 kilo just seems like, if I do 1 more kilo, I could certainly do 5. Like it, to me, that's always been kind of the mindset. And I think for some things like strength lifts, that's probably not the worst mindset to have. But it is certainly something that can, like, obviously for snatches and presses and like more technical lifts, like being able to be in that minutia is more important. But it's a lot more fun to hit a 5 kilogram PR than hit a 2 kilogram one. The math just is more satisfying. But no, I kind of, and which you can also approach it as well as like, let's say that, you do, so you're doing 75 doubles, you do the first set, maybe your last warm up 72. Oh my God, I'm getting just cooked. But maybe you do like, 72 is your last double, then you can jump to 76, something. It's like you jumped a little bit above. So then you do that first double, and then you can keep pushing that double above. So like you hit that little PR, and then you can keep increasing and hit, in a sense, multiple PRs, but like you have a little one and then a big one, because I'll get into that mindset where it's like, all right, I'm just gonna take a big jump and go for a PR, when really it's like I should take a smaller jump and be more conservative with it, because then I can go up if I want to. It's kind of like how I'm treating behind the neck jerks right now, where I did 165 yesterday and I did 170 earlier this week, which is like a massive lifetime like lift to do, and the heaviest thing I've thrown above my head. But the goal with hitting 165 again is to start building that as a regular number that I can do, so then I can jump to 172 or something above 170. Because in order, I jump 150 to 170, which is a crazy big jump. I'm not gonna jump 155 to 175, probably. I say that I'll probably do that, but like ideally I wouldn't. I would jump less weight with that. Squats you can get away with a little bit heavier jumps though. For like, it's all relative to what you have done prior as far as like what is a big jump. Because you could say like for my squats going 70, 120, 170, 200, and like those are big jumps. I even did 70, 120, 170, 210, and like those are always big jumps, but I'm used to taking those jumps. So as long as you build a tolerance, and that's actually another thing, is like building up the tolerance. Take bigger jumps to serve. Oh yeah, you don't need to think about conserving energy for squats for sure. Squatting is important, of course, but doing the lifts well is more important, or much more important. Or plus, I don't know. It's when I think about even like my deadlift PR, like I have never just gone into the gym since I've done powerlifting and just did a deadlift. And that's been for like multiple years. I probably have done it like one random day, and I'm kind of trying to think of a day that I did do that. And I remember, if my memory does serve me correct, that it didn't feel very good, because like everything I do prior to that feels good to just move, to do something prior to that. But squats are interesting because like I've done like a series of training sessions where I would do them first, but I feel like if you can do a weightlifting movement, so it's, I don't know, like my heavy Saturdays, like I'm hitting really big squats, so maybe it just doesn't matter really, because I would think that I would be a little bit more cooked as far as the energy expenditure. But like when I did the 230 double, like I thought I could have done more weight. I was kind of mad that I didn't chip the PR, right? I was in theory thinking of maybe doing 230 for 3, but it felt a little bit too much after that second rep. But I was like, I could have done 231 for a double. Yeah, I will say, so the first time that I did, so the craziest deadlift day I've ever had, my PR prior to that day was 650. And this is when I was back in the commercial gym, so I'm thinking in pounds now, but it was like 615 pounds, which is a lot. But I had done a power snatch and power clean day, and if I remember that day correctly, it was basically like just going heavy on both the power snatch and power clean, not like volume or anything, just going heavy on both of those, and probably power clean and jerk, but that's besides the point. The kind of cooking this guy now, but I did both of those and then just did deadlifts, because that's kind of, I mean, that's been my mentality for a while with deadlifts, is just do them after your main lifts, especially like heavy deadlifts for me. And even at that point, like I kind of had too much strength in a sense, like I don't need to really improve my deadlift. But I'm rambling. So I did that 615 on that day, where I like went up to 605 or whatever, and I jumped to 635, which was, I think, a 20-pound PR at that point. I wish I could remember the exact thing, but I did 635, and that was like at least a 15, 20 pound PR, which for, being over a 600 pound deadlift for me, especially because I wasn't really pushing the deadlift far, was like insane. And it was also like, I remember being like visibly confused after that, like thinking that I had misloaded the weight or something. And I was like, I have to go up. Like it was like an empty bar, and going up to, it was 665 there and doing that lift. But that was after doing powers on both of those. And I actually didn't PR my deadlift for a while after that. It's because I just didn't really push it very hard. And I don't know what really changed as far as me starting to be able to progress that up again. I think it was really just probably my legs getting stronger. But that was truly like, there's not many days where I go in and I'm like, oh wow, I hit like a 30 pound, like at any point of my lifting career, where I go in and hit like a 30 pound or 40 pound. I think that day was a 40 pound PR, or I guess 60, whatever it was from my previous PR. But I don't generally have like weird days like that where I hit some sort of insane high number. And that was truly one of the weirdest days of training. Especially because I didn't PR my deadlift again for a very, very long time, and I still did heavy pulls, but it took me a while to get back to like I was back in the shed with kilos, but like to get to 290 or 295, to get close to that took me a while to do. And I don't know, we're still chilling. But yeah, powers before strength work, I think for me at least, warms you up. I just played this guy. Why am I playing him again? Got scammed. Albatross training day. Oh, this is bad for him. He lost the night. Unless he wants to lose a... Ooh. No, he figured it out. He figured it out. What a smart man. What a smart, beautiful man. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of... Oh, I hit myself. It really depends on like what kind of squats you're doing on that day. For me, it's the Tuesday and the Thursday sessions when I'm doing the snatch balances and the behind the neck jerks. I know that I can go harder on the front squats and it not be like, I'm not necessarily going to be limited as much by like a snatch or a heavy clean or whatever as I would on the other days, but it allows me to kind of like, dang it, it allows me to be more focused of like, yes, I want to snatch balance well and do heavy jerks of some kind well, but I also want to make sure I do a good front squat. Wow, he just decided not to take. What an absolute nice guy. We'll just go up to there. But yeah, I don't know if I necessarily like today. It would be kind of like for me like a power day in a sense, but I'm not really worried about like I'm just doing muscles and overhead press, so I'm not necessarily worried about getting up to. Oh, I didn't. Okay, it's trying to rematch me again. I wish I could just make it so rematches were automatically always declined. Because I feel like it pops up there, and when you're hitting a new game, it'll pop up like rematch, and it'll make you rematch the person. When I don't ever want to, because I feel like people cheat a lot more once they get a rematch. That or they try harder magically every time. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's like right now I have 3 days of specific sessions where squatting is going to occur. The middle of the week, I have the clean front squat and jerk. So in a sense, that is a squat, but it's not really the crux of the session. But the other 3 days, so the 2 front squat days, and then the heavy Saturday session where I can do some back squats. And really, I've kind of intentionally put back squats on that day so that if I am fatigued from the lifts or and I don't do, like, I'm not, I mean, they're going well, so maybe it's backfiring. But my thought was like, I'll be a little fatigued from like the heavy snatch and clean jerks, so I won't be able to squat as well. So if I'm going to have a variation of the squat, you know, whether it's back or front, that's not going to go as well. I'd rather it be back squats because I feel like those are stronger for me than front squats. I'd rather those be on a day where I'm a little bit fresher. Yeah. And I'm not doing a lot of volume. I feel like I try to do a little bit more on Tuesday, where I dropped back down and did some working sets, but I don't know. I feel like I need to do more of those. So next week probably won't be a good example of that because it's kind of the, you know, last week of the 3-week block thing that I'm doing. But and like that first week, I suppose in the first block that I did, I was doing front squat rep attempts. So I would not necessarily do a whole bunch of reps, but I was trying to push like a heavy reps up. So that's kind of honestly like I can do like light sets for really high reps and not really have too much of an issue. A lot of the issues I have, especially with like, you know, clean and jerks and jerks, is just being able to do a heavy jerk. And I know it might sound kind of silly, but like I can do a light jerk, you know, the volume I can do with a lighter weight is enough and it correlates to being able to do a heavier weight. But just having the tolerance of having that weight on my front rack and being able to just do what I know I can physically do, because it's not as if like, oh, I'm not strong enough to do this 130 jerk, but like it still will feel heavy on my front rack if I don't have that tolerance to it. I don't know, it's tricky. What's up, Jesus? 3 for 5 squats. Yeah, that's probably like the one thing I have in this span of training that I'm trying to figure out a little bit more, because I don't think that I have enough volume, and I feel like I should be doing more. But at the same time, like when I kind of look at the back squat that I've been doing on Saturdays, like it's gone well every single week. So I don't necessarily, it's weird because like I don't think my legs are really a problem right now. But like you always kind of want them to be stronger, but to me it's very confusing because like I'm not hammering a ton of volume, but like I'm getting close to like a back squat PR. I don't ever really. So the way that I'm structuring it now is that essentially I have like a 9-week plan, or it goes to the end of summer, and the first week is light, second week goes, you know, it's essentially a linear progression every 3 weeks. And so at the end of that 3 weeks, I reset back to hopefully a little bit more than what I started with. So let's say, for instance, that for like a front squat, I was doing 170 the first week. Then the next week I would do 175. The third week I would try 180. And then the next 3-week block, I would start at 172 or something, or something a little bit more than that. So it's not, I suppose, like a traditional deload where I'm decreasing everything all the way down and not doing anything or not training hard. But it's more in the sense that I am just kind of resetting, doing more volume in the first 2 weeks, a little bit less in the last one, and just kind of repeatedly doing that. And to me, like, I have never really liked doing deloads. I've done this at actually a couple of competitions where and I drive home, and my competitions are like 2 hours away typically. I'll drive home and just do back squats. No, I don't know. I would never do a week between blocks. It's too much time off. It doesn't sound very enjoyable. But like I've done a competition and like literally have driven home and done squats that night. And it's just always how I have been, for better or for worse. I just like to train. And that's why when I'm like, I would do well in like a Russian system or like, you know, all these like Soviet systems, like I have a pretty good feeling that if, you know, you pumped me into some Soviet system, like I would have performed pretty well because I just like to train. And I think that's something that's probably important in those systems, is not even so much that like you have the most athletic ability or like everything like that, but like you just kind of like to lift weights and you can kind of just make yourself do it. And not that I ever have to really make myself train or anything, but I enjoy it. And I don't think I would leave a competition and drive home for 2 hours and then squat, because I just feel, just feel like, I want to be cool and squat and, I want to be that guy. Like, I just kind of like lifting weights. I don't think it's even optimal. Like, I don't even think it's smart to do that. I was just like, I want to go squat. And I was like, I can. Like, I have weights at my house, so I'm just going to go squat. I'm just going to go lift some weights. But, I don't know. That's what it's like. It's funny when I see, and it's more like high level athletes where they're like, I took a vacation and I took 2 weeks off of lifting. It's like, man, I could take a day or maybe 2. Like when my sister had her wedding the other day, like, I didn't train on a Friday. I didn't train, I trained Saturday and then I didn't train Sunday. Like, to me, that was like a lot of days off that I wouldn't normally take. But the idea of just not like a week off or like a light week, I feel like I'm just wasting time. Oh, it's a bold move, Cotton. It was a bold move until you took my queen. Unfortunate. But Jesus, we don't do deloads around here. And I think, honestly, like, if you provide yourself enough light days of training that you don't necessarily need a deload, like a whole week. I think if you have, like, a session like today is a perfect example where I am simply going to try not to blunder. I really want to take that, but I know I can't. Yeah, no, 3x5 is definitely like, just repetitions in general. It's good to do that just to build the rhythm of it. Build the rhythm of the motion. Rhythm of the night. Gosh darn it, I just am losing every game. I mean, that's all depends on how you're feeling, Reed. I can tell you what to do. I know for a while when I was starting to do more of the live streams, I didn't want to do heavy sessions because I thought it would impact me. But once I could figure out the music, and I realized I just didn't care about like the copyright, then doing heavy sessions didn't really matter to me, because I was like, for light sessions, it didn't matter if I had music or not and all of that. But once I figured out, it's like, oh, like I just get like my videos are always blocked in like Belarus and Russia, like 1% of my audience, I think it says. But it's like, and it's only the video afterwards, so you never get that like during the actual stream. It's never blocked or anything, what I've noticed. But also, like, it would be hard for me to tell. It's not like there's a bunch of Russians and Belarusians in my streams, I don't think. Maybe there are, but Jorge, I'm glad you got here early before you had to go to bed. Jorge's terrible about his sleep. I'm terrible at chess. I'm below 1200. It's bad. I'm gonna play 3 minutes and try to win. Not a good thing for me to try to do, but we're gonna lock in for this game. It was like 1250 when I started too. It's impressive how quickly I can just lose. It's all Jorge's fault, really. Yeah, I mean, as long for me, if I have music, then I can train heavy just fine. If you had to like not have music, then it might be just different if you're used to always having it. I always like having music for the training. I will say though, when I was at the weightlifting gym, I didn't feel any need to have music, and I think that's just because of the stress of being in a weightlifting gym. Did I really not? Gosh, this is so embarrassing. I just am playing so bad. Oh yeah, it amplifies it, but like it stresses me out in kind of like a positive way to where like I don't want to lift bad because I'm around other people who are not just lifters, but like people who know weightlifting. And it's like people who aren't going to see me that much. So it's not like, oh, you know, he had a bad session, he'll lift well tomorrow. Like I'm not going to see these people till Thanksgiving at the most. So some of these people I saw both weekends, but like my one buddy that I went to college with that coaches there, it's like he sees me in person when I'm there, which is not very frequently. In theory, it's like I could go up there more often, but I mean, it's just such a long drive, and I don't want to drive that far. I don't have a problem training in the shed or at a gym. It's never been an issue. The problem that I've had, Jorge, is that when you lift at a commercial gym, the music it's not just bad, because this is going to sound like I'm just making fun of like, oh, Taylor Swift is bad, blah, 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 blah. But like, I feel like, okay, he just messed up. When it's really slow, sad pop music, that also, you know, it could be Taylor Swift, it could be anything, but like, it's also just, the pace is bad, but also like in a commercial gym, you hear a lot of people talk. So I've seen a weightlifting gym, people get quiet or they cheer you on or whatever. So like, you have that positive motivation as well. Listening to someone talk about their day at work is not, it sounds like I'm being a psychopath, like, oh, I can't stand it. But like when you're trying to like focus up on a heavy lift is extremely distracting. And I think that's part, you know, it's obviously is my fault that I get distracted by that, but it's really difficult to focus when someone's 10 feet away from you talking about something that is fine. Like it'd be people like that I would talk after my lift and have no issue with the conversation, but like when you're trying to lock in, it's hard to be locked in when you're, I think for me, probably easily distracted with that. But in a commercial gym, you have a lot of that kind of general noise. In the powerlift gym, it's nice because they kind of understand heavy lifts and stuff, and if I make a huff and puff a little bit, then they kind of know like, oh, he's going for a big lift or whatever. But in that kind of weightlifting space, it's just different in that regard. Like I literally didn't put my headphones in a single time, and it wasn't like I was like, oh, I don't want to be rude. Like I just literally didn't feel the need for it at all, which is nice. Yeah, I really wish I could just zone out. But in the powerlifting gym, it's definitely a lot easier. Like I wouldn't say I necessarily need music for that, but like a lot of times there wouldn't be anyone there, so like you kind of just get that. I think that's where like I think Clarence Kennedy talked about that. It's like depending on your music and stuff. It's like if you don't listen to music when you train, especially by yourself, I've done it before and it's possible, but like I feel like you're leaving, like I feel there's gains to be had if you do, because there is science that says that like you perform better when you are listening to music, and I believe it's like physical education science, to where if you're playing music, and I've noticed this as well when I'm teaching, if like the music, or for some reason like the music didn't work that day, you definitely notice a difference in the environment, to where the activity is, it's not like kids are worse, but like there's definitely less energy, and it's hard to exactly explain why they have less energy, but they certainly do. And I think that's also true of people who are just lifting. Oh, oh, I'll probably see you then, Reed, as long as my phone shows it. It was close. I was playing too slow. All right, now it's gonna be crazy. The winning streak. I'm now gonna get one because we're locking in. We're locked in. The locking has happened. Yeah. One in a row. Time for two. Get him to cook some time. I do need to get more coffee after this game as well. Don't let me forget, Jorge. Necesito más café. Maybe if I practico mi español durante mi jugar chess, mi español will get muy bien. No. Oh, you're saying bye to him. I thought you were saying bye to me. You're leaving me alone. It's alright. You don't need an audience when you're locked in. So then when he goes over, we throw him another check. And then we're all messed up, and I'm up a pawn. I don't know what that means. Oh, you're saying that's what chess is? I feel like you could just say chess. There's some words that there are, the difference in a different language, the way that you can, the technical word for it, like weightlifting. I've listened to Spanish weightlifters call a snatch in Spanish. Like they're like, voy a hacer el snatch, and they just say snatch. So I think there's some words that are just in the zeitgeist enough to where people just say chess. Like I would envision that. But yeah, that actually ajedrez or ajedrez, I do kind of remember that word from early Spanish. It's funny that you say that because it does actually ring a bell. But yeah, you try not to, but Well, and it's not even like, oh, it's just an American thing. Like, kind of everyone says chess. It's kind of like weightlifting too, in that same, like squats. Like, kind of everyone just says squats because it's easier when you're in that kind of. There's 2 paths you can take, Mr. King. Oh, wait. Not good. Might just be a draw, though. Oh, no, I think he figured it out. Let's go right to there. He had it right. He just has to keep his queen there and then just move his king. I guess I have to go back to there for that to work, though. So I think it is a draw now. It's a draw. It's a draw. Alright, we're gonna run and get more coffee. Where are they? Un momento. Necesito más café. Yo tengo más café. Con leche. Media y media leche. I think that would be how you say half and half. We're locked in. 1 win, 1 draw. Draws don't count as losses, so we're still on a 1-game winning streak. We're fried livering. We're fried livering. Give him the check. Drop it at. Drop it at. Gotta move. Spaniard pride. You know, the Spaniard or Spain used to have a lot of world power. They kind of fell off though. They fell off pretty hard. Kind of crazy to think how much stuff Spain used to be in control of. Make Spain great again. They need their colonies back. I think that's the key. Colonial Spain. That's what y'all need. So that's why your time zone's all messed up. So you have the traditional Spanish. See, even in America, if I were to learn Spanish, it would most likely be, Mexican Spanish, which is mostly the same, but there are some idiosyncrasies. Oh, what? What? My man, he had a free pawn, he just didn't take it. He pre-moved a move that he should not have done. That makes no sense why he wouldn't have taken the free pawn. He trolled me. His brain is too big for me. Yeah, I know there's like vosotros was like one thing I remember learning about in Spanish class that was different. We were basically like taught like, you know, this is something that they say in Spain, but like you don't have to worry about it because it's nobody says it in Mexico. Vosotros. And also there's like well, this is less of even just specifically Mexican and Spanish, but like there's regional words. I remember my Spanish teacher in high school told me that it was sweater, but in some regions that meant condom. In other places, it just, you know, it literally just means like your sweater that you put on. But there are like idiosyncrasies of language that are important to know regionally, or slang. That's what the word I was looking for. There's slang in the slang. So I'm sure that would be like the issue that Spanish people and Mexican people would have with understanding each other is not the main crux of the main parts of the language, but would be the slang language. No, I just lost. You just didn't realize that. Who just went to there? Would have just lost. Ooh. Yeah. And that's, I mean, honestly, that's the same in English too. Regionally in the United States, there are places that have different sorts of phrases. But I think that is probably much less of a thing now than it probably was in the past, just because of media. Like people just communicate with people in different parts of the United States and the world a lot more. So a lot of slang is pretty common. But there are, you know, little things still. Like there's a little bug that's, and maybe this is different for you too. It's a little gray bug that when you poke it, it rolls. Oh, half of them are dirt. That's often true as well, I suppose. But it's the little gray bug that rolls into a ball when you poke it, and it can roll. It's a little tiny bug. What do you call that bug? I don't know if you have them in Spain. I would assume that they're kind of everywhere. Oh, he just resigned. It's a tunero. The little gray bug that rolls into a ball when you poke it. It's really tiny. Usually it's in like the mud or like under rocks and stuff. Yeah, what do you call those? So I don't want to tell you what I call them, because that is something that was unique when I moved in the state. But while you're getting ready to tell me that, pop as well, so like soda or whatever, that's very regional as well. There will be people down here that call it soda or pop, and it's not really like that much of a big deal. But I've always called it pop. Nobody ever called it soda. You call them the ball bug. So down here where I live now, they call it roly polies, which I think is such a stupid name. But where I grew up, everyone called them potato bugs. I don't know why. I don't know how. It doesn't make any sense. And I would say it's almost as dumb, but like we would literally, like, potato bug was literally that's just what we called them. And it wasn't even like, there wasn't two thoughts about it. Like a roly poly I never heard of until I came down here, and literally nobody down here has heard of potato bug. And it's I mean, people down here are just wrong in that regard. But I don't, to me it doesn't make any sense either. So like I get like potato bug is, that's illogical too, but like a roly poly, like that seems like such a late, it seems like that's a name that someone would come up that's like 8 years old. Like, what's that? That's the roly poly. It's a poly. But like a ball bug, that actually makes logical sense. So I actually won't dog on you for that. That literally is a ball. So I'll give you guys credit. You had some logic with that one. But yeah, potato bug is what we call those. I guess, I mean, like, they kind of look, I guess in a sense they kind of look like a potato, but like I don't even really think they look like a potato. But if the world decided to call them ball bugs, I do like that it's an alliteration, so the same letter starts with both words. So I do think I kind of want to start that here. Call it the ball. Oh, it's a ball bug. It's a ball bug. Ball bug. That does flow. It is logical as well, which I do enjoy. So I think I will get that I'll get that rolling here, I'll get that roly bowling around out here. That does sound much more pleasant. So this is why it's important that you talk to people in other countries. Sometimes they've figured out things. Like America, why would anyone call it a roly poly or a potato bug when ball bug? That makes perfect sense. It obviously translates perfectly fine in any language. Man, I don't know. Throw him a knight. Throw him a knight. Throw him a knight. And messages. Package. Your package is shipped. Your package has shipped. I could be an assistant cross-country coach with all my running experience. I'm a runner, I'm a drag star. That you're not wrong. That would be confusing to people. Man, I'm just getting cooked in this game. I'm getting cooked, brother. This one is, I'm down on time too. Alright. You gotta beat a 2-game winning streak. Oh, we messed up. Ooh! Good start, good start, good start, good start. We have a discover if he doesn't notice it. We have a discover if he doesn't notice it. Oh, he noticed. Ooh! You got what I need. We're just gonna long castle. And pretend like he don't even exist. Alright, he's fallen into my trap. We throw pawns at him. Pawns on pawns on pawns on pawns. Pawns on pawns on pawns on pawns. Can't stop my pawns. Much like a roly-poly potato bug, ball bug. You throw a ball bug, it's gonna keep rolling. Until acted upon. That's what they should use for like physics introductions. A ball bug will continue to roll until acted upon by an outside force. I don't think this is good for this man. I don't think this man is about to have a good time. So I can go, yeah, yeet. Syrian missile, that is a diabolical name. Bicho patate. So I'm guessing Bicho is bug. Bug. See, like bug in American, in English, sounds so much better. In American English, bug. Bicho. Bicho sounds like an insult. Bug. Sounds like I'm from Alabama. I'm in the bayou. I just found a bug. A not too harsh one. I can see that. That does make sense. Yeah, like we might call a kid like, oh, you bugger. Like you might call a kid that little bugger. And it's not really an insult. It's just kind of like almost like an endearing type term. You might say you're being a goofy bugger, or you're being a silly bugger, but you're not really going to be like, this guy stole my car, what a bugger. Like, that wouldn't really make any sense. That guy committed tax fraud, what a bugger. What a crazy bugger. Guy murdered my own. Now I'm just thinking of how goofy it would be to use it in every context. This guy murdered my whole family. What a bugger. What a crazy bugger. Need to reappropriate that word. I'm sorry. You're learning a lot of English today, I only tell you. We fixed we're learning a lot of figurative language. That's actually something I had a Japanese friend in college, and he always struggled at English because it's like difficult and stuff. But I remember he asked me one time, like, figurative language, and it was the most confusing thing to try to think of, because at least, and maybe it's not true of all English speakers, but I feel like we use a lot of figurative language all the time, and it's really natural. So you don't really think about like whether something is literally like translatable in another language. I remember one Spanish thing. It feels bad. Our teacher told us like it's all the same as like mi da igual, but like I guess that was like an example of figurative language in Spanish to where it didn't translate to English. What the heck? I just moved his king randomly. Oh yeah, the bug slang. I mean, that's important things you learn. Yeah, what is your knight doing there, brother? Uh we're going back. Oh, I'm getting cookerinoed. That's it. Now we're losing more. Our best winning streak is still 2. Not good. Not good. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. It's insane. Whatever. Not let me move. Games like this, I always want to resign, but I know I should just play them out because you can still win on time, and also there is the possibility of blunders. Blunders are always possible. Mostly on my end, but it is technically possible for the other person to blunder. Is being sent. Grad school emails trying to get me to buy back to school stuff. I suppose in a sense we're slowly tripping our way back in. Can actually save. We can save our guy. Get him out of there! Yeah, I'm gonna be training later. I probably won't be streaming it just because it'll be really light. It's just muscle snatches and some pressing, so it'll be a really short one. I could even do it in the house if I wanted, but it's not really hot outside, so probably still just do it outside. But I don't know, I'm kind of convincing myself to do it in the house now. So good. It's insane.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Man, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, I need to run to the bathroom, so I'm just going to end this here. I need to get the other stuff done. Deuces!